So, how did the idea for the series come about? And why did you set it in the 80s?
The idea came about. We were talking a lot about how two things have inspired us: the 80s teen films and 80s horror. And we noticed that they all each had the same archetypes, right? The jock, the stoner, the virgin, the whatever. It just kind of sat in our heads, and we thought, wouldn't it be an interesting show to do a horror at a summer camp and flash back to the characters before they got there? And so, get the audience invested in the characters so that when they die, or if they die, it matters. And why we chose 1989 was because that's when we went to camp. And this is our midlife crisis show. And summer of '89 was a very special summer for me, and so that was why. And what we loved about the late '80s was it was kind of the end of the '80s and the beginning of the '90s. And there's been a lot of shows I feel like that have done the early '80s, but very few that have kind of touched into that late '80s, '90s. So for us, it just our own personal history matched with. We thought it was cool to bring something new in. I loved it straight out of Compton that it was late '80s.
Yeah.
How did the audience respond to the screening that you guys just did?
It seemed like
you tell us.
Yeah.
I was there for the first few minutes.
Okay. It seemed like it went well.
We were very pleased to be able to show it to an audience. There's nothing quite like watching the show with an audience live, and that's
actually saw you guys at the very back. I wanted to say hi because it was dark. I didn't know.
Yeah, you thought it.
Music plays a huge role in the show, and I just wondered, was that a conscious effort to really focus on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, we're all really big fans of music, and the '80s. Really lends itself to that. So for us, that's summer camp was where I would go in and I would have my cassette tapes and then someone I never had met was like, well, have you heard of this? So many bands and things in my life I learned at camp, and I think we wanted to celebrate that.
The Jew story you guys did was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Was that story like something you knew that you wanted to tell?
It was. That was a story that we wanted to tell early on. I think we wrote the first 4 episodes before we even shot the pilot, so we wanted to build on that one, which was why very consciously we very rarely had Drew speak in the first 3. We loved. At first you think it's just like the mysterious loner in an '80s movie. But that story we've always been.
One thing I feel like kind of sad about is that this is like maybe next season there's going to be different characters, but for the first season we're already getting attached to these characters, so we want to see more of their story. The next season, will that?
The way we're approaching the show, should we do multiple seasons, is as kind of an anthology where the mythology of the lake and the camp we continue to explore in different years, and then we can use our cast in different roles. So while they wouldn't be necessarily the same characters, we would get to see them do different things, and there would probably be some stuff that carries over, mythologically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, in 1989, next week's episode is Deb's flashback. We're going to see her in the summer of 1970. So already there's a connection. So we could do a potential year where somebody's the camp director, but it's played.
You mean episode 6, right? Next week is Joel's episode.
That's right. I'm sorry. I can't keep anything on track. Yes. Next week is Joel's, then the week after is Deb's.
Can you talk about the cast a little bit and
sure.
Like how Zelda is Drew and why she was the right role and characters in general?
Sure. Which character do you want to talk about?
Talk about them all. Kind of casting
they're
and
all,
bringing them in.
Every character sort of represents, as we said, that the idea was to do at first you think, it's the archetypes of all these 80s films, but then hopefully peel it back. We learned Alex was actually, from the Soviet Union, and we see Cricket's backstory, and obviously Drew's and Joel's, and I guess, when you write a character one way, but what you hope is an actor comes in and surprises you with the way they play it. So I think for Zelda, when you see episode 4, you understand the character on multiple kind of times in their life. And Zelda just brought this rawness to it, and this emotion and this power that you just you can't write. It just is. And so when we saw her audition, it's like, well, she's the only one that can play Kitsis. And same with everyone else. For the role of Joel, we wrote the film geek very similar to us, and he was so good that we're like, let's change what we thought right to him.
Ian, can you talk? A lot of stuff happens in episode 5. Like even the first 3 minutes are crazy. What can you tease? I heard something really big happens. What can you tease about episode 5?
I can tell you, well, without giving too much away.
Be careful in the woods, you can say.
I would say the title is "How to Stay Alive in the Woods," and so something bad might happen in the woods at some point in the episode.
Because he's always pointing.
Yeah, he does. He does speak.
He does have quite a voice.
Last question. What 80s tropes did you really enjoy playing with on the show?
I think for me, I loved playing with the 80s tropes of just the John Hughes side of the character. Like Jess presents herself one way. Every character presents himself in the cliche way, and everybody naturally just assumes that's what it is. It's like these things have been used over time so long that you naturally accept it. So I think that hopefully when you see the twist, you will truly be surprised because you're like, what are you talking about? Alex is the rich kid. I've seen the rich kid in every 80s movie I've ever seen.
Quick question. You more lost Easter eggs we can look forward to. I saw the Apollo bar in episode 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Are there going to be more?
Maybe one more.
Okay.
Maybe one more. Cool. Thank you
Thank you,
guys.
guys.